everyone. For today's book review, we're going to be looking at my new favorite book for 2024, and it is The Windfall Battleships by Aidan Dodson. Sorry, Aidan. This book is amazing. It looks at the lives of several battleships that were acquired by the British Navy on the eve of World War I. They included the HMS Agincourt and Erin, who were taken from the Turkish Navy / the Ottoman Navy account, as well as the Canada and the Eagle, both ships being built for the Chilean Navy. And beyond that, this book also looks at the Balkans arms race, as well as the South American battleship race that gave birth to all of these battleships. This book was a dream come true. A couple of months ago, I reviewed this book, The Big Battleship by Richard Hoff, which told the story of HMS Agincourt up until this book was published, well, at least, yes, which was back in the 1960s. And as I noted, this book was a product of its time, and its attitude towards everyone that wasn't British would cause a reaction today. And that was pointed out in Aidan's book. Aidan's book is far more technical in his perspective and in his outlook, and you don't get any crazy judgments in the text at all. It is a purely objective, technical look at these ships. And let's talk about Aidan Dodson's book. Aidan Dodson goes through more than just the history of these ships and the political and naval factors that would contribute towards the construction of these ships. He looks at the details of each ship, he looks at how they evolved over time, and in the case of the Latin American arm races, or the battleships of Brazil, Argentina, and Chile, he also devotes a fairly considerable amount of time looking at the Argentinian and the Brazilian battleships, which is amazing. The South American battleships are among the least written about, and so to have such a extensive, detailed account in English, easily accessible, immaculately researched, is an absolute godsend to anyone who is interested in battleships. But it goes even beyond that. Looking at the motivations and the reasoning behind the Ottoman Empire to construct two battleships, he also looks at plans for Greece to acquire a dreadnought and the various designs, and then even looks at some of the other Balkans powers and countries and their attempts to build up their naval capabilities. Putting everything into one volume means that you get this comprehensive overview of a naval arms race that you don't get to read or hear about that often. And again, this author has made his name through some immensely detailed and fantastically researched naval books over the last couple of years, so you know you're in good hands with him. In addition to the research and the eminently readable writing style, there's plenty of line profiles of the ships. We get to see their evolution in their profiles over time. In the case of the Eagle, we also get a really fascinating look at how its hull eventually evolved into the aircraft carrier. And again, even though the Eagle is slightly outside the scope of this book, it still gets its own chapter, and this is how excited I am about this book. And we get a great overview over its life from its beginning through to its sinking in World War II. Thankfully, we finally have an up-to-date book that brings, at least in the case of HMS Agincourt, its story completely up-to-date, including new information that has recently, in the last 2-3 years, come to light about plans for having it to be reconverted into a depot ship. All we now need is for historians from the UK, Turkey, and Brazil to sit down and collect all their primary sources, accounts, memoirs, anything that has been preserved in their archives, and present us a more personal view of life of that battleship. That's the only thing left in terms of the accounts and the life of Agincourt. In terms of technical elements, everything is covered here. You could not ask for anything more. And as I've shown you up here, there are plenty of photos, line drawings, and maps as well to help you orient yourself around what's going on where. But of course, the line drawings are the main draw card. You get to see the evolution of all the various ships. And the fact that he's also included discussions about the Argentinian and Brazilian dreadnoughts is incredible. It would be awesome if Aidan Dodson could then turn his attention to the Spanish dreadnoughts, the España class, and then we could actually have a accessible English language book about that diminutive but still fascinating class of battleship. No surprises, this book is a 5 captain's hats. You love battleships, you love profiles, you love reading about the lesser known battleships of World War I and beyond, check this out. You're interested in South American battleships? Check this out. You want to understand how and why the Ottomans wanted to build dreadnoughts? Check this book out. You want to understand why the Agincourt ended up with 7 gigantic turrets? Check this book out. You want a more complete understanding of national, military, naval, political factors leading countries with limited means to build battleships? Check this book out. You want to see how the design of battleships evolved over time? Check this book out. Again, I cannot recommend this book highly enough. It is fascinating, it is detailed, it is highly illustrated, it is objectively and fascinatingly written. So my new favorite book for 2024, it was worth the wait. If you love battleships, check it